Hi, I'm Jerry Shiles. This is Wayne Peterson. We're with the law firm of Parman and Easterday, an estate planning and elder law firm. What we want to talk to you about today is how do you get out of a business. I saw a great quote the other day from Paul H. Osofsky, who said, "An accountant once told me that the definition of fair market value for tax purposes is the value arrived at in negotiations between a willing tax lawyer and a willing revenue agent, neither of whom has ever bought or sold anything of consequence in its life." That is a problem for us going forward, because lots of people involved in the transfers of businesses have no clue about what's going on, and it's important that we prepare ourselves.
And every business owner, voluntarily or involuntarily, is going to leave the business at some point. Relatively few plan for things like death, disability, or retirement, much less things like divorce, bankruptcy, or family turmoil. There's a lot of reasons why businesses fail, but at the top of the list is failure to plan and properly schedule for a succession plan.
Succession, exactly. And we run into this all the time. I've got a real estate company. We've been trying to transition from two brothers to their children for years, but we can't agree on anything. And if you fail to plan, if you fail to address those difficult issues, all you're doing is making that succession problem worse. Easy for me to say. Succession problem worse when you actually have to transition. Because if you can plan ahead and prepare that slope, everything's going to go smoothly. But if you fall off the cliff, it's going to be a much more difficult situation.
Yes, and according to the Small Business Administration, at any given time, 40% of U.S. businesses are facing the transfer of ownership issue. The primary cause for failure is lack of planning. So since most business owners have limited choices, you need to look at the potential options for marketing your business. Are your heirs interested, or do they have the capacity to overtake your business when you're ready to pass that along? If not, is there a ready market? Do you have key employees that might be interested in running your business after you step out? If you wait too long to start the planning, your options become few and the value of your business could definitely suffer.
Exactly. Many people have this idea that some white knight's going to step up, buy their business for a bundle of cash, they're going to walk away, they're going to have money in hand, and they're not going to have to worry about it. But in reality, that very often is not the case. What happens is that sale happens much closer to home, and generally that business has to finance the purchase itself. So in other words, the person buying that business is going to have to use the income generated from the business not only to support themselves, but also to buy out the prior owner. So the question you ask yourself is, how much longer do I want to work in the business before I step aside? What kind of annual after-tax income am I looking for after retirement? And how do I think I'm going to be able to accomplish that through the transaction or the transition of that business?
And anytime you're discussing the sale of a business, you want to maximize your return to get the best possible deal. That means maximizing the amount that your family or yourself can receive in return for this business that you spent your life creating. Since the business is your most valuable asset, typically in most estates, your financial security and the financial security of your heirs, including surviving spouses and children, is often dependent on this return with your business.
Correct. And many business people, they don't have a government retirement check coming in. They don't have a military retirement check. So they're dependent on whatever they've been able to set aside from the business and whatever they're able to receive going forward. And one of the first things we need to know is what's the value of the business. So we're probably going to need to get an appraisal. Once we get that appraisal, we want to set up the transition plan so that it's most favorably structured to reduce taxes. And there are different ways to doing that. We want to protect against creditor risks, both for you from the actions of the purchaser and the purchaser from your prior actions. We want to promote the value of the business by reducing the debt and consolidating and making sure it's efficient all the way forward. And we want to have good curb appeal. We want that business to look good. We don't want any broken windows detracting from the value.
Yes, and in the interim, you want to create a plan and communicate that plan with your family and employees. This is especially important for sole proprietors because they typically keep all of the planning in their heads and don't have an established long-term goal or plan in place. So at a minimum, you should communicate your plan to your family and your key employees so they'll know exactly what to do in the event of your death or disability.
Right. Anybody buying that business is going to want to be sure that those key employees are on board. They're going to continue to be there, that historical knowledge is going to be available to them. Your spouses need to have a clue about what's going on. So you need to designate who those key employees are, make sure that they are up to speed, that they can be trusted to keep that business moving forward. You want to create a deferred compensation agreement. You want to have some sort of a bonus plan in place that will allow your employees to stay and maintain that continuity.
Yes, and you also want to keep an updated list of all of your advisors, your attorneys, accountants, brokers, individuals like that. You want to meet with those people at least on an annual basis to ensure that the plan that you have in place is properly structured from all those perspectives. And you also want to provide a list of potential buyers so you'll have that ready and available when you're ready to make that next move. It could be key employees, it could be family members or children or other family members. If not, it could be a member in that industry or some other business owner in your industry that you probably have communicated with from time to time and may have even walked down that road before. But definitely have that list ready and available for you and for your key employees and your family when that time comes.
Right. If you want to unravel that tangled web of transition planning, you need to plan ahead. You need to put all the pieces in place. You need to talk to all the key advisors. You need to keep your family involved. You need to have an exit plan. You can't wait to the last minute and then be forced into a fire sale where you receive pennies on the dollar when that business is finally sold. So plan ahead, and if you need assistance with that, call us. We'll schedule a free consultation and we'll help walk you down that path. Thank you.